mic in that end.
Radio 5 Victor Tango number Bravo Alpha.
Radio 5 Victor Tango Sierra Hotel Romeo.
Radio 5 Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Hotel.
Radio 5 Victor Tango Sierra Uniform Bravo.
Radio 5 Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Yankee.
Radio 5 Victor Tango Tango Papa Kilo.
Okay, once again, if anybody cannot hear me, if someone, any student cannot hear me, please let me know. Okay, time to revise and time to use the first 5 minutes to ask a few questions if you have. So before I ask a couple of questions, I want you to ask a few questions. Anybody has any doubt with respect to the topic we had covered yesterday? What were we learning about? We're learning about directions. We saw how directions are measured. There's a system based upon 660-360 where we measure directions as angular measurements clockwise from a reference. The reference is always north for directions. North will always be 0, 0, 0. So how is everyone doing? Very good evening. I cannot see most of y'all. But there is Manan, Subhajit, Meet, Anas, Sankalp, Sparsh, Likit. Very good evening. I hope you have revised. If you have any doubts, please ask. Then we have Sujal, Komal, Shata, Varita, Viral, and Sana. We have Alpha, control,
Mumbai Control Radio 3 number Bravo Alpha.
Victor Tango November Bravo Alpha, Mumbai Control, how do you read?
Mumbai Control Radio 5 Victor Tango number Bravo Alpha.
So Victor Tango Alpha Alpha India, break, Victor Sierra Hotel Romeo, break, Victor Sierra Alpha November, break, Victor Tango Papa Kilo. I hope you all can hear me properly. Tango Sierra Sierra Yankee, I hope the same for you. So I can see Viral, good to see you all. So one thing that will help you remember is that deviation is always between compass and magnet. Compass directions and magnetic directions. So if I have to make a symbol, by definition, deviation is angular difference between magnetic north and compass. So this is the magnetic north. This is where the compass north is. Then where is the compass north with respect to magnetic north? Is it in the east or is it in the west? The right will always be east, the left will always be west. Okay. Because if you have to divide the earth in two hemispheres like this, then this entire region becomes eastern hemisphere. And this part becomes western hemisphere. Another thing that you will learn about eastern and western hemisphere, when you will look at the earth from top view, from over north pole, there will be one straight line known as prime meridian and one line known as anti-prime meridian. From top view, this whole part becomes your eastern hemisphere. Hemisphere means half sphere. And this part here, the white part, is your western hemisphere. So with respect to your reference, anything on the right will always be east of the reference. Anything on the left would be west of that reference. Before I continue, I really need to know, okay, I can see Shraddha, that's nice. Victor Tango, Tango Papa Kilo, how do you read? Break, Victor Tango Alpha Alpha India, how do you read? I'm not getting any response from you. Tango Sierra Alpha November, how do you read? I think Komal had messaged.
Radio 5 Victor Tango Sierra Alpha November.
Tango Tango Papa Kilo, how do you read?
Radio 5 Victor Tango Tango Papa Kilo.
And Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Yankee, how do you read?
Radio 5 Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Yankee.
So coming back to our point, okay. Where do you see the compass north is? I hope everybody remembers the symbols. The compass north was on the right side of our magnetic north. Whenever I'm talking about compass north and magnetic north, I have deviation in between them. So if my compass north is on the east of magnetic north, the deviation is determined as easterly deviation. What is it called as? It is called as easterly deviation. Easterly, it is on the east side. I'll show it again. Screen got disconnected. Just
Sir, unable to see the screen.
yeah, just stand by. I hope you can see the screen now. So here, the angular difference is on the east side between the magnetic north and the compass north. So this is easterly deviation. Okay. When I talk about variation, now variation will have a reference true north. And with respect to the true north, if my magnetic north is on the east, okay, then it becomes easterly variation. Looks easy to understand. Anybody has any doubt, feel free to ask students. What is easterly variation? When the magnetic north is east of the true north. What is easterly deviation? When the compass north is east of magnetic north. Now you will be seeing questions where a combined value will be given to you like this. That you will have easterly deviation and easterly variation at the same time. What does it mean at the same time? It means this. There will be one more north like this. So with respect to the compass north, my magnetic north is on the west. But when I'm talking about deviation, the reference has to be magnetic north. So with respect to magnetic north, this is compass north. Again, easterly deviation. and this is variation, and this is easterly deviation, both in the same figure. This relationship is often determined using a technique that all budding aviators use, which is the initials of the sequence C, compass, D, deviation, M, V, T. Just like how we had seen yesterday. Step 1 in yesterday was get compass directions.
Sir, unable to see the screen.
Yeah, nice. Are we following what is easterly deviation, easterly variation? Now the same applies to westerly deviation and westerly variation. So who can try and explain me in their own words? What is westerly deviation? I'm giving you all 1 minute to frame your answers. Ready? Victor Tango Sierra Uniform Bravo. Try again. Try.
Sir, westerly variation is when the magnetic north is to the west of true north, and westerly deviation is when the compass north is to the west of magnetic north.
Very well, sir. Good. Anybody wants to debate this answer? Anybody has a different answer? Are we listening to the answer? So what is westerly deviation? Westerly variation, how do we determine? We first make the true north. It is a very simple concept. But generally, what happens is students make mistakes by not knowing what is the exact reference. They get confused. When variation, the true north will be straight, because the true north is a fixed position on the earth, right? Where we have planted a flag, physical flag marking the earth's true north. It cannot be moved. It doesn't move on its own. So true north will always be constant. Depending upon this true north, the magnetic north keeps changing its position. The magnetic north can be on the east or the west. If the magnetic north or the magnetic north pole is on the west, this is known as a westerly variation, and this is the measurement. From the true north, this arrow symbolizes the angular measurement. And westerly deviation, again, the compass will show me that my magnetic north is on the right of the compass. Do not get confused if the magnetic north is on the right. If the magnetic north is on the right, still the magnetic north will be fixed. And if magnetic north is on the right, it means the compass north is on the left. So this is a place where word play can confuse you in the examination. If the compass north is on the west or the left of magnetic north, it is westerly deviation. If the magnetic north is right of compass north, it is still westerly deviation. So do not try to be tricked, or avoid being tricked thinking, okay, right, east, left, west. You should know what is right of what and what is left. So I'm going to give you a couple of statements and you have to give me true or false answers. Okay? Mark true or false. Westerly deviation is when magnetic north is right of. Everybody type in your answers in the chat box, sending me a direct message. Not a message to everyone, but a message to me. Okay, so that I can see your answers. Is it true or is it false? Quick. Westerly deviation is when magnetic north is right of true north. True or false? I haven't yet got any answers. I've got two answers. No more answers, students. Students who cannot send me a direct message, you can give me a verbal answer. So Anas, Viral, Shatta has given me answers. What about others? You can write TF, you can write yes, no, it's fine. I understand. Okay, 5 answers so far. Okay, which Tango Papa Romeo Alpha? Cross check your answer. Look on the keywords. One trick about navigation exams is you should always cross check your answers before submitting. It really helps you clear in your first. Okay, what about others? Many students have not sent me answer. Okay, I'm getting answers. Okay. Good, Victor Tango Papa Romeo Alpha. Why did you make that mistake? Earlier, you should know that you were rushing. You were focused on right. You were not focused on what is there. So, westerly deviation is when magnetic north is right of true north. Westerly deviation is when magnetic north is right of compass north. The deviation will always be between magnetic north and compass north, not between magnetic north and true north. It is false. Simple. You see, it's such a simple question, but look at the strategy how we are answering. This is how I want to build an intellectual capacity in you when you're giving answers. Question number 2. Easterly variation is when true north is east of magnetic north. True or false? Only half of the class had sent me message answer. Yeah, I don't know why others are not sending. Are you sending me on another? Okay, fine. I think you're sending it on the other account. No, send it to the host account. Host. Send your answers to host. Victor Tango Alpha Alpha India. Focus on the keywords and the definition of variation. Variation. In variation, true north is fixed. True north is east of magnetic north. Try to draw it. True north is fixed. True north is east of magnetic north. It means magnetic north is here. Is this easterly variation? No, it is westerly variation. The answer is false. Because this is easterly variation. This is westerly variation. The question is talking about this. Okay, easy. Students, this is easy, but it is very confusing. I want you all to be very alert with this. Don't get carried away thinking it's very easy. It can be confusing. So every question that you answer, be very careful in answering. Okay. Now, what is the application? Students, don't send it on the non-host account. Send it on host. See, I am sending a chat message to everyone. You can reply directly on I've sent a message as hi everyone. From now on, just send me messages on that. Anybody has any question, any doubt? Now, what are the applications and calculations? So my aircraft question. Aircraft heading is 270. Okay. Magnetic. What does this simple equation mean? The simple equation means if you have to consider aircraft heading, you make cardinal points 0, 0, 0, 0, 9, 0, 1, 0, 7, 0. Let's remove magnetic from here. Guys, don't send a message on the, just send a message on as a reply to the one that I have shared. Okay, hi everyone. The aircraft heading is 270. Nothing is mentioned right now. Let's just say we need to find the aircraft heading. What will you do? Which direction is 270? This is 270, right? West, a cardinal point. Aircraft has its nose pointed in that direction. So where will you plot your aircraft? You will plot your aircraft like this. Like this. This is the wing. This is the stabilizer. And this is the nose of the aircraft. You can also make a plane that looks like this. Up to you. We generally use the upper one, vertical perpendicular lines. Now what happens? This nose is pointing in which direction? 270. So this is how I plot an aircraft with the heading 270. Is everybody following? How is this 270 measured? This 270 is measured with respect to, sorry. This 270 is measured with respect to the north clockwise angular measurement, right? 270. Now, if I say this is a true north reference, like this, then my heading becomes 270 true. So if I say in the question, aircraft heading is 270 true, variation 5 degrees east, find magnetic heading. Now, what does it mean? On the chart, you have to follow 270. All right, on the chart, because true. So maybe this is the required heading. And the variation at present for your place mentioned on the chart, the variation will also be mentioned on the chart. Variation is 5 degrees east. What is your magnetic heading? This is how we mathematically solve. Now, if my variation is east, it means my magnetic heading is on the east of true heading like this. This much I know. The value is also given to me. That is 5 degrees east. This is my second step. Now I want to know what is my magnetic heading. What do I do now? I take my magnetic north as a reference and I measure an angular difference or an angular measurement clockwise from magnetic north till the aircraft heading. Because the heading is not going to change. Nothing is going to change now. You just have to measure what's your present magnetic heading. So you take this as reference and make an angular measurement this much. Now, what do you think is the value? It is 270, which is your true heading. The red one. From that, you remove these 5 degrees because there is a difference of 5 degrees between the true and the magnetic. And if you look at it, which circle is bigger and which circle is smaller there? Think about it carefully. If I'm making this angular measurement, which is 270, this part of the pie, and then if I'm taking this part of the pie, which part has more angular degrees? The red part or the blue part?
Blue.
Which has more degrees? Don't go on the sides of the pizza.
Red.
See, red has 5 extra degrees. The blue starts from here. The blue does not have 5 degrees. What do? Red is 270 and blue is 5 degrees less than 270. So 270 minus 5, the value of variation, is giving you 265. This is how you solve. Now, if I add one more equation, one more point in the equation, deviation is 4 degrees west. Find compass heading. What do? It is going to be shabby right now. So we will use a bright color. We'll use yellow color with fine marking. Now, what does deviation 4 degrees west mean? The deviation would be with respect to magnetic. My magnetic north is here. This is my magnetic north. 4 degrees west means on the left side, like this. I'm making an extended line. Compass north, see. 4 degrees west measured from the magnetic north. Now, who can try and tell me what is the compass heading with respect to this? What is the value of compass heading? Think about it like this. Ignore the red one because deviation will always be between magnetic and compass. Now you make another slice of pizza and tell me if the yellow or right now the orange colored one has more degrees or the blue colored one has more degrees. Obviously, as we can see, the yellow is on the left. Yellow has more number of degrees than the blue one. It means deviation will be more than variation. Or we can say that the compass heading will be 4 degrees more than the magnetic heading. So what is the magnetic heading? The magnetic heading, first you found out, right? So 265 plus 4 degrees is equal to 269 meters. So your answers are magnetic heading is 265 degrees and true heading, correction, the compass heading is 269, while your true heading was, as you can already see, 270. So these are the actual corrections you have to make to stay on the 270 track as required by the chart. So to be on 270, you need a magnetic heading of 265. And in order to be on magnetic heading of 265, because you have deviation, on the compass, you will be looking at 269 as your head. So it's like you have to follow 275, but using a magnetic compass, you will be following 269. And by default, you will be on a 270 true direction. This is how the application works. Now, this is a very logical way to solve this, but there is an easier way to solve this, where you don't have to stretch this. The easier way, although it is very easy to remember, it is again very confusing. Right now, if you can understand this logic that I made, you will never ever falter in directions whatsoever. But to teach you a very easier and quicker way to save time in your calculations, you have thumb rules or tricks, okay, about variation and deviation. When your variation is east, now what happened here, the variation was east. Compared to the way, because variation was east, compare the true heading and the magnetic heading. Which is the least? The magnetic heading is least. 265 is smaller than 27. So this stands true for all situations when your variation is east. So when variation is east, your magnetic direction is least. East rhymes with least, and with variation comes magnetic. Because true north will not change, true north will be fixed. Similarly, if I have variation west, it will be opposite. The magnetic heading or the direction will be more, that is west. This is as simple as it is. We will use this logic, and we will also use the drawing logic to solve the further questions that are going to. So try both ways and see whether you can come to a solution. Deviation. If your deviation is east, now what happened here? My deviation was west, and because my deviation was west, was it more or less? The compass value. The compass value was more than the magnetic value. So deviation east, we'll first write that option, deviation west, compass west, and opposite deviation east, compass east. What students tend to get confused with, because they don't focus, is what to use with variation. Is it magnetic or is it true? And what to use with deviation? Is it compass or magnetic? This is one of the most common ones. So take a couple of minutes, study this, and memorize this way of thought. It is as easy as this now. You will often see tables like this. A reverse CDMVT, or more common is this. CDMVT. Okay. Now I want everybody to make this table and give me their answers. You will submit your answers on private chat. Send a reply to the message that I have sent as hi everyone. Okay. So if I say question number 1 is, in the table you make the question. If your true direction is 214, and if the variation is 9 degrees west, find out the magnetic direction. And my compass direction is, so, and my deviation is 6 degrees west. So find out my compass direction. Now, as you can see, you cannot solve compass and magnetic first because you need at least 2 values out of 3. But you can definitely solve true and magnetic because you have variation. So variation west, magnetic best. So magnetic will be more than true by the value 9. So the answer would be 214 plus 9. Please use your calculators to do all these math. I'm giving you a variation west, magnetic best. So best would be 214 plus 9. 223, that is 2. This is my magnet. I cross check. I say this again in my mind, variation west, magnetic west. Correct. Variation west, magnetic west. The only mistake that can happen later is the mathematical equation. I cross check on my phone right now. 214 plus 9 gives me 223. Correct. Now you have got magnetic. Deviation is west. What will be the value of compass? Deviation west, compass west. It is not magnetic, it is compass. Deviation west, compass best. Best by how much? 6 degrees into 2, 2, 3 plus 6 gives me 2, 2, 9 degrees. I cross check. Deviation west, compass best. Correct. These are my correct answers. I didn't have to even draw the heading and all. But you should really know how to draw the heading. Remember this diagram. And you have to practice this whenever I ask you to give me a solution, and then you have to send that solution. Because if you don't know how to plot a heading, you will be confused all the time. And your basics will be weak. Now, question number 2, you have to solve and send me answers. The direction value that you see on the compass is 1599 degrees. Deviation as given to you on compass card is 10 degrees east. So right now that you see 15 degrees on the 1599 degrees on the compass, when you see 1599 degrees on the compass, what is your actual magnetic heading? And on the chart, you see there is a variation of 4 degrees west. So what is your actual true direction right now? So right now on the compass, you see 159er, and on the deviation compass card, you see 10 degrees east. So what is your actual magnetic heading? And with respect to the magnetic heading, this is the variation. So what is your actual true heading? Now, depending upon the actual true heading, you'll check on the chart and see if you're on the correct true heading. If the chart heading is more, then you have to take a turn and increase the direction. If the chart heading is left, then you have to take a turn and reduce the rate. Simple as that. So I'm going to plot this. I want everybody to first try to plot it. One more practice of plotting. It is very important you know how to plot. What do? You take true directions as constant like this. Okay. But 159er is your compass heading. It is not your true heading. So first find out all the equations, then we'll plot it. Because we need to know the true heading. So deviation east, compass least. I'm not getting many answers. Earlier question, only one student messaged me the answer. Also write the question number 1 or 2 or 3. Okay. Subhojit has given me an answer again. Others are not sending an answer. If there is a confusion in solving, please ask. So deviation east, first I'll be only solving magnetic because the trio is not complete. Otherwise, with respect to true and magnetic. So deviation east, compass least. It means magnetic is more. 159er plus 10 is 169. So this is my magnetic heading. And now my variation west, magnetic best. So true will be less than 4 from 169er. So that will be 165. Students, I'm still thinking that some of y'all are sending me on the wrong account your answers. So true is 165 and magnetic is 169. Viral, check your answers. What's wrong? Deviation east is magnetic least or compass least? Aviation, compass. Variation, magnetic. Correct? This is a beginner's mistake. It should not happen again. Now I have to plot where is 165. I'll quickly make cardinal points. And where is 165? I'll realize 165 is here somewhere. Where is my aircraft? My aircraft is here, true direction, 165 heading. It is very important you learn how to plot this heading. This is 165, true. Now with respect to magnetic 169er, your variation is west. It means your magnetic north is west, like this. Does it not make sense? Does it not give you 4 more degrees? It gives you 4 more degrees, see extra degrees with magnetic. And how about compass? Compass is 10 degrees east. East of magnetic north, 10 degrees. Your compass north is somewhere here, like this. So it will be much more smaller than true and magnetic both. And in fact, it is smaller, see, like this. It is smaller than the true and it is smaller than the magnetic also. You should master this. You have to master this. But you can take your time to practice this. Any questions? Is everyone following? Everybody agrees with the diagram? I'm showing you firsthand. These are all strategies and techniques to make it very easy for you. Always be very confident how to plot the heading. Your cardinal points, making this symbol, plus symbol, is of high importance. Learning to understand this plus symbol. If I tell you your heading is 315, quickly with this plus symbol, you will give me 315 and you'll make an aircraft here. See how easy, not even 2 seconds. Making a very accurate diagram in your mind or on a rough piece of paper really helps you with a lot of understanding when it comes to your radio navigation in future or general navigation. And you see, I'm not given this north any magnetic or true because it is subjective. If it is magnetic in question, I'll use the north as magnetic. That's true, I'll use it as true or combine. Let's solve one more. What will be your compass reading when there is 6 degrees west deviation and your magnetic heading is 4 degrees? What will be the variation when your true heading as required is 010? Again, which trio will you solve first? First, you will solve this trio because other trio cannot be solved. Or actually, you can solve both in this because here also you have both the trios. So up to you, whichever you choose to solve first. I'm again sending a message to everyone. Wait, wait, let me just check. Aviation west, compass west. Good. So your compass value will be more than true value. So the answer looks very obvious. And the true value is more, magnetic is less. Whenever the magnet is less, when the variation is east, magnetic is least. So yeah, good. The answers look very easy. I think everybody is getting the right answer. 010 on the compass and 6 degrees east. Variation east, magnetic east. Last check your answers, students. Please tell me if you have any confusion. Is it easy? Is it tough? If it is challenging, if it is confusing, if it is tough, do not trouble yourself thinking, okay, I'll figure it out. You have to tell me and I'll help you figure it out. Okay. You can tell me in person also. And please keep practicing how to plot the heading and cross-check with me if you're confused. One more question. Your true heading to follow is 3, 5, 6. Viral, I want you to focus on the rule of thumb. See, you're missing a point in the rule of thumb. And again, I want you to focus what is easterly variation and what is westerly variation. Westerly variation is when magnetic is west of true. The true is fixed. And westerly deviation is when the compass is west of magnetic. Because deviation has 2 branches, compass north and magnetic. What is deviation? The difference between the actual magnetic direction and the direction shown by the compass. A compass is the instrument showing you magnetic direction. If this you have fixed in your mind, then you have to nicely remember this. If my variation is east, what does it mean? If my magnetic north is east of true north, then the value of the magnetic direction is less than the true direction. This is what you should be, this is how you have to study, so that this is where you reach. The way I am explaining this to you, you should be able to stretch it. Wherever variation is east, it means my magnetic north is east of true north. That time, my magnetic direction is always lesser than the direction. And it all has to do with your clockwise measurement, angular measurement of directions clockwise, that is right side. If you would not have made clockwise directions, then anything on the right would not be lesser than the thing on the left. So one more technique I want to share with you all is whenever you learn new numericals, whenever you're solving new numericals, all the thumb rules and the formulas that you learn, you write them in a sheet of paper and keep it open when you're solving sums. Always before solving every sum, keep the sheet open. It could be the page behind your notebook. It could be the mobile phone where you write it down. I generally use blank sheets of paper to make my notes. And then keep it open. And whatever question comes, look at the rule of thumb, look at the formula, apply that, get the answer. 2 or 3 times that you will find yourself doing it, the rule of thumb and the formula will be completely reserved in your mind automatically. Effortless study. I'm going to give you a lot of skills. Any skill that you want to use your own skills, but please make the best of what you're doing. So let's solve one more sum. The true heading is 356. 11 degrees west variation. It means my magnetic north is west 11 degrees by true north. Okay. These are the knots. 356 is the heading of the aircraft. So you're not plotting 356. You'll plot true north only. 0, 0, 0 if you're plotting. This is another confusion students fall, thinking, okay, 356 is given in the question, so I have to make reference as 356. No, the reference will be true north, magnetic north, compass. The difference between true north and magnetic north is 11 degrees. And magnetic north is west of true north by 11 degrees. So if your heading is 356, true heading, what is your magnetic heading? variation west, magnetic best. You cannot get directions more than 360. Remember that. But you are going on the other side. So there is a strategy to solve this also. Magnetic is best, so you will do 356 plus 11 is equal to 367. Now 367 cannot be directions. Okay, so whenever you are having an equation that goes up 360 like this, 356 plus 11, you do minus 360 again like this. This is the key, just minus 360. So here what you will do, 356 plus 11 gives you 367. Now 367 cannot be an answer because maximum directions are up to 360. So you minus 360, you get 007. Now this is one trick question. But logically, if you sketch it, you'll realize that, yeah, so it makes sense. Variation west, magnetic 007. And I'm telling you, your deviation is only 1 degree is east. Compulsory. Deviation east, compass least. Remember that. It's the compass that is least with deviation. So on your compass, what you will see is 006 degrees. Good job. Anybody finding it confusing? Any error whatsoever? Think about it. Viral, don't be shy in asking. I'm glad it's cleared. Students, don't be shy in asking. And if you think you have confusion, don't leave it for later. Please. Don't try to say that, oh, I'll do revision, I'll check the video again and do it on my own. That definitely you should do. But in the class, when you have the time to ask for doubts, you should ask for doubts. One more practice question. So, Victor Tango Sierra Hotel Romeo, give me a compass heading, any compass heading.
To 180 degrees, sir.
Very well said, 218 degrees. Directions should always be read out in 3 individual letters. Victor Tango, Yankee, Yankee, Zulu. Give me a value of deviation. You're on mute.
Three degrees west, sir.
Say again. You could say again, could not hear you. Tango, Yankee, Yankee, Zulu. By control. 1.
So 3 degrees west.
3 degrees west. Great. Okay. Victor Tango, November Bravo Alpha. Give me a value of variation. Tango, November Bravo Alpha. Under control. Nehal, are you there? Tango, Tango, Papa Kilo, under control.
Affirm, sir.
Yeah, can you give me a value of variation?
12, sir.
12 what?
12 west.
12. Good. Thank you. So what are the answers? Let me solve a question given by students. Variation, deviation west, compass west. So my magnetic would be what? 218 minus 3. 218 minus 3 gives me 315 with cross check. Variation, correction, deviation west, compass west. Okay. Variation west, magnetic west. The magnetic is 215 and has to be west, then west would be subtracted. Variation. Is it correct? I'm always doubtful about my answers until I cross check them. Two of the questions are matching answers. Great. So, class, that sums up our quick session for today. I'm so happy that you all are joining. It's a very easy concept. Over the weekend, I'll be shooting out an email before the weekend, probably today, tomorrow, anytime. I'll not be rushing, where I'll be giving you a lot of questions to practice. Please. Okay. You have to reply back to that email. Send me pictures or PDF. PDF made up of pictures of the solutions. Okay. So, any questions? Welcome to your first numericals. Don't worry, there will be confusions, but we'll resolve your confusions. Just let me know whatever is bothering you. Okay. Shraddha, Sparsh, any questions?
Negative, sir.
Negative, sir.
Anas, Meet, Likith,
Negative, sir.
Negative. Negative, sir.
Viral, Shubhoji, Sankalp,
Negative.
Negative, sir.
Negative.
Pratik, Sana, Komal,
Negative, sir.
Negative, sir.
Varita, and Nehal.
Negative, sir.
Nehal, your mic is on mute, so I cannot hear you.
Sir, I'm still confused in variations.
Confused about what? Tell me. Nehal, can you repeat your question? We'll sort out your confusion.
Yes.
And are you saying variation? I read you.
Yes.
Yeah. So variation is angular difference between true north, which is fixed north. Okay, it is a fixed north on the earth, and magnetic north. This is a moving north, a north pole which changes its position. So we cannot predict the change in the motion, but we can measure the change in the motion. There are times when, if this is your true north, the magnetic north could be somewhere here. Then there will be times when, if this is your true north, the magnetic north will be here. There are times when, if this is your true north, the magnetic north will be here. True north can be represented by a full diamond, so that we don't have to write, only a symbol is enough. And magnetic north right now, because it is here, it is like this, half diamond. In this case, the magnetic north is here, half diamond. In this case, again, the magnetic north is here. And whenever the magnetic north is on the left, that is west. My variation is west. It is the angular difference between true north and magnetic north. And the difference is this. It could be 1 degree, 2 degree, 5 degree, 10 degree, 20 degree. In this case, the magnetic north is right. That is east. So the variation is east this case. And in the third case, what do you think is the case in the third case? Is it easterly variation or westerly variation?
Westerly variation should be.
Very good. Very good. Westerly variation. Why? Because my magnetic north is west of the true.
True north, yes.
Right now, remember this much about variation. It is always with respect to where your magnetic north is compared to the true. If it is east, it is easterly variation. If it is west, it is westerly variation. There are two or three types of directions. Directions measured with respect to true north. All these directions, they become true directions. 0, 0, 0 now, 0, 9, 0, 1, 8, 0, 2, 7. They're all true directions. The moment I make this magnetic north, my directions will be measured with respect to magnetic north. So my magnetic east would be perpendicular like this. This will be 0, 0, 0. This will be 0, 9, 0, 1, 8, 0, and 2, 7. So this is the difference. If my aircraft is on a true direction, 0, 9, 0, then what is the value of my aircraft's magnetic direction? So this is the measurement. Simple. And this is how we find out how much is the difference. That depends upon the difference between the compass north and magnetic. If I say the variation is 20 degrees east, it means the difference between the two angles is 20 degrees. And if my variation is east, my magnetic is least. So if my true is 0, 9, 0, my magnetic would be lesser than the true because the variation is east, and the value by which it is less is the value of variation, that is 20. So my magnetic heading for this aircraft right now is 070 magnetic, while it is actually on a true direction of 090.
Okay. Roger.
Very good. Good revision for everyone. Ask yourself if there are any questions. And one thing that will really help you till the time you clear all your papers and get a job, you'll have a lot to study, right? Till then. It's not a long journey, but it's a lengthy journey, I should say. Always think that time is your asset and not a scarcity or not a limitation. If you need 2 hours extra to study, take those 2 hours. Don't ever think you're running short of time. And if you need help with time management in future, I'll always be there to share tips and techniques. Okay. I've done that for a lot of students and I will do that. So feel free to ask and it will really help you. Okay. So if you have more questions, send me a message, drop me a message. Enjoy your holidays, festivals. Our next live session will be on a Monday. You'll get a notification. And between that time, you will get questions to solve on your email. The answers to those you have to send me as a reply to that email. Okay? All right, students. I'll see you all. Take care and enjoy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Happy
Yes,
Diwali,
happy
sir.
Diwali to everyone. Thank you so much.